Thank you very much, Your Majesty and our King, Acting President of the House of Chiefs, and all our traditional leaders who are assembled here. I want to thank you very much for the warm welcome you have given us since we arrived here. We're happy to be here in Shai Osudoku, and especially in Dodowa, which is a very historic town. And when we're growing up, the elders used to tell us that we are too young, and so we don't know what is happening in Dodowa forest. And we kept wondering, what's this forest in Dodowa that we children don't know what is happening there? Now that I've grown, I also know what's happening in Dodowa forest, and I also tell my children they don't know. But we're happy to be here, and we're happy that you've received us warmly. Unfortunately, the lights are off. We've entered the era of doomsday again, even though the government doesn't want to admit it. Every day they are shedding load between 280 megawatts and 480 to 500 megawatts. But they don't want to give a timetable so that people will say doomsday has come. Governments must be honest with their people. I mean, clearly everybody can tell that doomsday has come back to haunt us. We have decided, and we conferred with our chairman, our president of the house, when we came initially and met them in the office, and we said that we would, between today and tomorrow, we will donate a generator to the House of Chiefs, so that in this era of doomsday, if we come and they put off the lights again, at least your generator will be working and will not be feeling as hot as we're feeling currently. I'm also proud to be in Shai Osudoku, where we built one of the best hospitals in the whole country. On my birthday, I came and celebrated with the personnel there, and the hospital is still looking beautiful. It has been well maintained. The personnel have a very high morale, and we want to thank the people of Shai Osudoku for maintaining your hospital very well. I want to thank our Queen Mothers for the support they have expressed, and Your Majesty yourself for the support you've expressed in my naming of Professor Nana Jenopoku Ajimai as my running mate. I believe that women are our partners, and if we empower women, we empower ourselves. Somebody said, if you educate a woman, you educate a family. If you educate a man, you educate an individual. The time has come for women to serve in the highest offices of government. And I'm sure that history will be made on 7th January 2025 when the first woman vice president of the Republic of Ghana will be sworn in. I want to indicate that Greater Accra region is the capital region, and as a result of that, it is hosting a whole host of people from all over the country, and that is creating several hazards for the local people, the indigenous people of Greater Accra, in relation not only to lands, in relation to dilution even of the indigenous culture in this region. And I think that you make a very good point when you raise the issue that government should help to make sure that everybody realizes that this is the indigenous culture of the Gandangbe people. And so I have it as a point here, and I'm happy you raised it, that we would increase the training of Gandangbe teachers and their posting to schools in the Greater Accra region. And so that's something that I have taken note of already. Your Royal Majesty talked about elections and peace in elections, and we are assuring you that NDC is a peaceful party and that we will play by the rules, and we're sure that if everything is transparent, free and fair, we are capable of winning the elections. And so we're not going to do anything that will disturb the elections. But we expect you as custodians of the land and respected traditional leaders to also be observers and make sure that if somebody is doing the wrong thing, you're able to speak up and correct them before they disturb the peace. It is the lack of justice that disturbs the peace. We want peace, but there must be justice. If you say you want peace and you notice that somebody is rigging the election, you're not going to sit down and watch the person rigging it. You will react. And so let there be peace, but let there also be justice. The Electoral Commission must be completely neutral, and they must be impartial between all the parties, and they must do their work according to the mandates that they have been given. The security agencies should be neutral. Soldiers are not supposed to be in polling stations. They are not supposed to be in the collation centers, and so they should stay out. They can only come there when they are called by the police because law and order has broken down beyond the capacity of the police to handle. And so we hope that all these rules will be followed so that we can have a peaceful election and make sure there's no violence. There are a few issues that I wanted to talk about that I have on my paper, but I'll talk about them and then I'll come to some of the issues that you raised. The first one is we want to give chiefs more say in the local governance of our country. And so for the district assemblies, we are suggesting that a certain percentage of the 10% should be given to the chiefs to nominate their representatives to sit on the district assembly so that they also can influence what is happening in the assembly. Then aside from that, Accra is a rapidly expanding cosmopolitan area, a huge metropolis, and so we need to improve the transportation service in Accra. And that's why when I was president, we introduced the Ayalolo bus service. Unfortunately, our successors have virtually abandoned it. And so I want to assure you that when we come, we're going to revamp the Ayalolo bus service so that it can service all parts of Accra and let people be able to ride the buses to wherever they want to go. Because we want to introduce a 24-hour economy, we must have an efficient transportation system so that people can go to work at any time of the day or the night. And we believe that the 24-hour economy policy will create more jobs for our young people who are here in the greater Accra region. We also want to expand water supply to Accra. Accra is growing very fast. Recently, the Ghana Water Company complained that they can't keep up with the supply of water because of the fast expansion of water. What you do is you plan ahead, and that's what we did. And that's why between Professor Mills's time and my time, we added 40 million gallons of water to Accra's water supply. In the last 8 years, there's not been a single drop expansion in Accra's water supply. So why do you expect that the water will be enough? This is a city that is growing. And so after we added 40 million gallons, at least in 8 years, you should have added another 20 million gallons. We have started planning ahead already. That when we come into office, NDC comes into office, we're going to increase the water supply from to Accra, either by expanding the pump station or pooling more water from the southern Volta to the city of Accra so that we're able to supply more water. I've also announced already somewhere that the issue of Ghana lands is a very disturbing issue. It's a vexed issue, and it raises a lot of emotions. And so for the last time, when NDC comes into office, we're going to set up a commission of inquiry on Ghana lands to make recommendations on what government should do in respect of Gadangbe lands. And at the same time, it will also investigate looted state lands, because the chiefs and people of Gadangbe gave land to government for specific projects. If government is using those the land for those projects, there's no problem. So Parliament is working, is Gadangbe land. The Supreme Court is working, is Gadangbe land. The airport is there. We all are using it. We're flying in and out. But where government is not going to use the land anymore for the purpose that it acquired the land, the rule is simple. It says give it back to the owners. And so we have to get a commission of inquiry in and investigate those who have taken those lands. Because you go and see lands that government is no longer using. Private people have bought them. and are building all kinds of edifices on them at the expense of the traditional people. And so that is an issue we'll take into consideration. A commission of inquiry into Gadangbe lands, including the issue of looted state lands. Then we'll also look at the posting of Gadangbe teachers. I had it here already, and I've spoken about it. And then also maintenance of Gadangbe culture. The president went to Independence Day and wrongly attributed Tetekwashi to the Ekwapim people. Even though his farm was there, Tetekwashi is a Gadangbe. And he went and got the cocoa from Fernando Po and he went and planted it there. But it's because Gadangbe culture is eroding. So our children don't even know that Tetekwashi was a Gadangbe. And so we have to make sure that we celebrate the achievements of the Gadangbe people so that our children will know what the culture is. We have the Tetekwashi circle, but they all call it Tetekwashi. They don't even remember who Tetekwashi was. The first person who brought cocoa. He's not from Ikrapim, he's from Greater Accra. And so that's also. We are looking to decongest Accra. And so when we come into office, we're going to undertake a feasibility study to move some of the government agencies and the ministries outside the city so that we can free up more space and reduce the traffic congestion in the system. So some of the ministries, some of the government departments, agencies, we will move them outside Accra, not too far. There will be a highway between that place and Accra. We can even put train services between so that you can just board a train and go do your business and come back. And so that is something that we'll consider. With regards to the local issues, I have some of the roads here, and some of them were awarded on contract, but unfortunately because we left office, those roads have been abandoned. And the ones I have here is the Afienya Dodowa Road. It's only now I've seen them demolishing people's properties 9 months to an election. What really are you going to do on that road? It means we are going to have to come and finish that road. And as far as I know, there is no loan. They have not collected any loan for that road. So it means it's Government of Ghana a consolidated fund that is going to fund it. And so it will take the will that we have and the respect that we have for the people of Shai Osidoku to continue and finish that project. We have the Ayikuma Dorimu Road, the Adenta Dodowa Road. That's the one I was talking about, the dual carriage. Osuwem, Queen Mother talked about Osuwem. Osuwem Agoto Road is here. Then we also, when I went as president to Japan, I signed with the Japanese Prime Minister the MOU for the construction of the Volivo Bridge. Since we left office, that bridge has taken so long, 8 years. If we're in office, we probably would have finished building it by now. But whatever it is, whatever stage it is, we will continue to talk with the Japanese people. I have a special relationship with the Japanese people because I worked with them. And so we will follow it up and make sure the Volivo Bridge becomes a reality. We will also give attention to all other abandoned projects. After a lot of demonstrations and protests, the La General Hospital project has started. But definitely this government will finish it. We will come and finish and commission it for the people of La. The other roads, Rahama Town Inner Roads, Dodowa Inner Roads, Luom Junction Akosombo Road, extension of electricity to some communities without power, extension of potable drinking water to communities within the constituencies. So those are some of the issues I came prepared to talk about. But let me also talk about a few of the issues that you raised. And I think one of our traditional rulers took the words out of my mouth, that the Constitution gives guidelines for eligibility of members of Parliament. And apart from that, our political party constitutions also give guidelines for how members of Parliament are elected. And so the first step to getting more Gadangbes into Parliament and standing in those constituencies is that they must file. And they must cultivate the constituencies so that when they file, they'll get voted for. And so I'll ask you to encourage more of our young people to get involved in political activity in their constituencies. And when the time comes, they should be bold to file their nominations so that we can vote for them and have them elected into Parliament. I've noted the suggestion you made about a meeting room. This is a very beautiful building. The architecture is unique, and we know it's a very historic building, and so we'll preserve it. But I agree with you that if we get a bigger room, because the house has expanded, a bigger conference room will be appropriate. So we've noted that down, and then we can convert this into a beautiful museum so that we can come and children can come and learn the history of Gadangbe. Normally the president is only one person, but the president appoints many people to help him. And so you have ministers, you have regional ministers, you have district chief executives, you have members of parliament, and they should be a conduit to bring your concerns to the president, because the president alone cannot listen to everybody in this country. And so we will admonish our ministers when we win. As part of the orientation, we will admonish them that they should pay careful attention to their regional houses of chiefs and their traditional rulers, and that if there are any concerns they have, they should quickly arrange and either ask for an audience with the president so that the president can listen to them and be able to sort out any problem that they have. And so we'll, as much as possible, keep a close relationship with the various houses of chiefs so that we can solve any problems that will come. The boundary issue is not only with Greater Accra. There are several regions where we are having skirmishes because other regions are encroaching into other regions. And so it's something that the Ministry of Lands and Natural Resources will take up seriously, so that we do the demarcation properly. Everybody knows where their land ends and where somebody else's begins. Because this is a cause of violence. In many areas we've seen people lose their lives because of the skirmishes between traditional areas about whose land is which. And so that's something we'll look at. With regards to appointments, I've taken notes of it. You are all one people, so Gadangwes and Gans and Dangwes are the same people, but we'll take note of it so that we spread. The Constitution says that we should take into consideration geographical spread when making appointments. So I think that the point you have made is legitimate. I don't know the procedure for changing names of regions. I haven't seen anything in the Constitution, and it's never been done before. But it's something that I've written down. We'll take note of it. There has to be wide consultation whether it is what everybody wants. And if it's what we all desire, then I don't have any objection to it. But I do think that it is not about the name, it is about what we do, make Gadangbe great, you know, clean environment, enough social services, enough transport services and everything to make anybody who comes into the region see that yes, this is the capital region. I think that is the more important thing than just the change of name. And so that's the last point that I took note of. I want to thank His Royal Majesty very much, and to thank you for bearing with us. We should have come a bit early, but we got delayed at another function, and we'll thank you, and if you give us permission, we will run off to our next program. Thank you very much.